The recording is started.
Yep. Hey, what is up, everybody? It is time for another episode of the Blindside Podcast. I'm your host, Blind Metal Gamer. What is up, everybody?
And I'm Kaira Super Saiyan. It's good to see y'all and happy holidays.
Yes, it is now time for our annual holiday episode, and this year we decided to do things a bit differently, didn't we, Kara?
We are doing a double episode today. We are doing holiday traditions. It's not Thanksgiving, it's not Christmas, but it's both in one episode. The good, the bad, the tragic, the hilarious, the whole shebang.
Yep, we have a lot of funny stories and stuff for you. So we're gonna kick it off. Kara, I'll allow you to go first as always.
Oh,
Uh, so you can kick it off
okay.
with our first holiday tradition story of your choice.
Okay. I can remember a couple of times when I was a kid, my grandmother put together holiday scavenger hunts for me and my cousins, and they could get interesting. We would be stuck outside. We would be running around in and out of the house the whole night looking for our goodie bags. And when she decided to extend the tradition onto my younger cousins, because they weren't born the first time we did it, they got spoiled. They got these gigantic snow globes that were at least 3 feet tall. Let's just say me and the older cousins were, meaning me and my older sister and I and our cousin who is older, were a little bit jealous because we just got goodie bags full of ornaments and candy when we got to do our scavenger hunt.
Oh man. Um, I have a holiday story to share also. Uh,
Okay.
from the again my time at the at KSB. So again,
Mm-hmm.
for those of you who have not tuned into the podcast, or those who might be new, KSB was a school for the blind and visually impaired in our home where we're at. So
Mm-hmm.
we, I lived on campus. Yeah, your boy Blind Metal Gamer lived on campus, and we had our own holiday traditions as well. And I remember around Thanksgiving time, we would always have this pancake breakfast. And let me ask you this, Kyra,
Mm-hmm.
and listeners, when you all listen or watch in the comments wherever you can comment with this, how many pancakes do you all think you can eat in one sitting?
Oh gosh. I can go through about a pile of 8 pancakes over the course of half an hour.
And then we're talking like pancakes with like syrup and butter and
Oh, I know. I make them huge, but I can eat a fair share of pancakes if you give me enough time.
all right. I can eat maybe one or two, not a lot, just enough to give me a good and full.
Well,
Uh,
I make when I make French toast, I make about a half loaf, and that's usually enough for me. So maybe I'm just conditioned to eat more of that kind of stuff.
right, I get it. So, okay. And then the world record for pancake eating is 113 pancakes.
I couldn't eat anywhere near that much.
No. So, okay. During the 80s and 90s, the school had a thing called the pancake breakfast, where
Mm-hmm.
we would have pancakes, sausage links,
Mm-hmm.
milk, It was all you can eat. So it was advertised as all you can eat. So anybody could come from the school or just any walk of life. Okay. So there was, I remember my friend Steve, who went to the school with me back in the day. He was older than I was, several grades ahead of me. He distinctly remembers someone coming in from off the street, just a random guy,
Oh no.
and eating 35 pancakes.
Good Lord.
I'm like, oh God, 35 pancakes. And from what my friend Steve said, they had to escort him out.
Well, yeah, I can see that.
And then let's just say the side effects, yeah.
I, that many pancakes has gotta wreck your stomach later, if you know what I mean.
Yes, sir. I think he paid the price.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, Another tradition we have in my family, and you have a similar tradition, if I recall correctly, is every Thanksgiving. I'm the first one up. I go preheat the oven to make cinnamon rolls because we do cinnamon rolls on Christmas morning and Thanksgiving morning. And then I go turn on the Macy's parade. I'm not talking about the CBS parade. Boo!
No, boo on that CBS parade.
Yeah, I'm
Boo!
talking about the Macy's parade on Thanksgiving. And I'm like, on Thanksgiving, that actually led to an interesting conversation. I'm like, well, how would I watch the parade if I watched it at my own place? Because I don't have cable. And then I remembered Peacock is owned by NBC. They broadcast the parade live for those who don't have cable. My point is, I get up early, I make breakfast, and then I go watch the parade. Because you on holidays like Thanksgiving and Christmas, I'm usually the first one up, and if I don't do something, I will wind up inadvertently waking up the whole house.
I'm kind of the same way. I mean, I have to be doing something, or I'm going to be waking everybody up and throwing everybody off. And
Yeah, I mean, I even have to keep the dog quiet on Christmas morning because it's a young dog.
hmm yeah, what I do here's your old blind little gamers holiday Thanksgiving Day tradition. Um, I get up to get ready for the day.
Mm-hmm.
I turn on ABC or
You mean
NBC.
NBC?
Yeah,
NBC.
NBC. And then I watch or I watch listen to Today.
Mm-hmm.
Then the same for the parade.
Yeah.
And then I listen to Alice's Restaurant on WKQQ, which this year is going to have a pretty interesting twist. I'll be able to listen to it with a certain A lady.
Nice.
See, in years past, I've had to listen via Spotify and cue that boy up.
There, there you go. And I should also note that once the parade is over on Thanksgiving Day, I get booted out of the living room to go help out in the kitchen because um my stepdad wants to watch football, which always starts at noon on Thanksgiving Day, whereas I'd rather keep the dog show on. That is my dad and stepmom's favorite. So for the past couple years, I've let my dad and stepmom use my Peacock account so that they have access to the dog show.
That's fair. Um,
They love the dog show. I don't know anyone who loves that dog show any more than those two. I mean, considering the fact that there were at one point four dogs in the house, I can't blame them.
right. So we do the parade. Well, in our own way. We watch the parade
Yeah.
in our own way, and then we kind of do our own thing. Then we get the big feast. Can you describe
Oh yes.
your Thanksgiving dinner and what it consists of at your house, at Kaira's house?
In my house, we start out small. We have the cinnamon rolls, some appetizers. There's always Bloody Marys and mimosas around for anyone who wants them. You're not obligated to drink either one of those, but
hmm
they are available.
Right,
And
the options there.
and then of course, by usually about 4 o'clock, dinner is served. And so we are weird. We do, but we are not team ham or team turkey. We are team ham and turkey. We have a honey baked ham and a turkey of some extent. This year we are doing a pre cooked turkey to make things easy.
hmm Oh yeah,
And we will have everything: oyster dressing, stuffing, mashed potatoes, wait, I think we do green bean casserole, sweet potatoes, two different cranberry dishes. I think we're having three cranberry dishes this year. I mean,
Mm.
just all kinds of good. So I am the baker at Thanksgiving. I bake a pumpkin pie with a streusel topping. So it's a pumpkin pie in some sort of non-flaky pie crust. It's usually like the equivalent of a graham cracker crust. And then I put a streusel, which is basically, just the topping of a coffee cake on it. And then I make, oh, this is the best one though that wins people over every Thanksgiving. It's called a German chocolate pecan pie. It is coconut, pecans, a decadent German chocolate filling, all in a crust. That is, my stepdad calls it the stick to your ribs dessert that I make every Thanksgiving.
Now, Kyra, you know Blind Little Gamer. Now you've got Blind Little Gamer curious.
Mm-hmm.
Now you got me curious. See, now you've got me curious.
It's good. If there's any left, I will try to save you some. But I gotta warn you, that pie goes pretty quick in my house.
Hey, whatever works. You know my rule. Okay.
If worst comes to worst, I could always give a certain somebody the recipe so that you could try it for yourself.
Okay.
You know who I'm referring to, but we're
Mm,
not going to say it on here.
right. Okay. So, all right. At Blind Metal Gamer's house, you're probably wondering what does Blind Metal Gamer and his family have for the big feast? Okay, we have a turkey. We also don't either do either or. We do both ham and turkey. We do
Mm-hmm.
rolls. We do broccoli casserole.
We do rolls and broccoli casserole in my family as well. I forgot about those.
We do rolls, turkey, ham, broccoli casserole, Velveeta shells and cheese,
Mm.
sweet potatoes. We do stuffing, cranberry sauce. We do fried corn,
Mm-hmm.
green beans,
Mm-hmm.
and we do oh shoot, trying to think. That's pretty much. I mean,
What about desserts?
and then that's pretty much the. Then for dessert, we do pumpkin pie.
Okay, now I gotta ask because you brought it up. What kind of cranberry dishes do you do? My mother has two, and I told you there's a third one, but I can't remember what she said it is. We do cranberry relish, which is basically orange zest and pureed cranberries.
Hmm.
Not very good. It's very acidic and bitter tasting. But then there's the creme de la crop, a cranberry jello salad. It is sugar-free raspberry gelatin with in a trifle format of whipped cream. No,
Hmm.
not whipped. I'm sorry, sour cream
Hmm.
and alternating layers of gelatin with some cranberries mixed in for texture, and then nuts on top, usually pecans.
Yes, and I can say from experience, Blind Metal Gamer has tried this. It is great. That's good. We just do
Yes, I
cranberry
forgot I gave
sauce.
you some last Christmas. That's right, I
Yes, you
did.
gave me some around this time last year, and
But let me ask, what kind of cranberry dish do you guys do?
we do usually just cranberry sauce.
From the
Just
can?
I think it just
Yeah.
hey, speaking of traditions and dishes, uh, really quickly, going back to the KSB, for those who might be watching or listening who remember this, we KSB would also have Thanksgiving dinner,
Uh huh.
and it would have turkey stuffing. It would have
Bless you.
thanks. It would have turkey stuffing, just the traditional dinner. We would always sit around at our tables when we would do it family style. And what
Mm
family style is, for those who don't know, is where the food is presented in the center of the table, and
hmm. Mm
you
hmm.
take it and you pass it around, and you scoop out how much you want of each thing, and then
Yeah.
that's how it is. And that's how we would do Thanksgiving, and then Christmas dinner is a little different. But yeah, that's how Thanksgiving dinner was done at the school, and that's how we did Thanksgiving dinner at home. So, do you have any?
No, at my house we do buffet style. Everyone takes turns. They go across the kitchen, get their plates, and then the rest of the people go. We start with prayer, and then people go get food.
Nice. We kind of do a buffet style in our house too. I mean, we
Mm-hmm.
have it all set out, at the table, on the
No,
table, and
like
then we.
no, no. We have people spread out between our living room, our dining room, our sunroom,
Mhm.
and our kitchen. We because we have nearly 20 people at my house for Thanksgiving.
Oh
So
wow.
we just well, yeah, I mean, I'm come from a blended family. I have a lot of people in my family.
Mhm.
And so people just come, grab what they want, go sit down. Whether it's to watch football, gossip about politics and politics at the table, or just go catch up with people I haven't seen in a while.
Nice. Usually, environmental gamer, gatherings at my house are quite simplified. It's just the immediate, just the family. It's only a few of us.
No, see, for me, it is my mom and stepdad.
Mm-hmm.
One of my stepdad's sisters and her two kids and granddaughter, well, and grandson, and,
Mm-hmm.
well, it's husband and son in law. So, that's a whole group within itself. My brother, his wife, and their two girls. Uh, my grandmother, mother, the matriarch,
Mm-hmm.
matriarch of the family, because she used to host Thanksgiving in the family, which we'll get to in a little bit. And then there's my mom's brother, my uncle, and his girlfriend. And then we have a family friend who's an old, I don't know if he's a fraternity brother or business partner of my stepdad's. They used to work in a restaurant together back in down in the Carolinas.
Mm-hmm.
Carolinas at one point, and then back in the 90s. And so that usually adds up to 16 to 20 people. I mean, my sister used to come for Thanksgiving, but now she's in California and she does her own Thanksgiving. We
Nice.
just Oh, and then there's a couple cousins. Sometimes we have cousins from out of state.
Oh yeah.
So, it's Thanksgiving can top 20 people some years in my family. I have a huge family. Plus, there's always pets that are getting sneakily fed under the table.
Oh yes. And I bet the pets try to get the table scraps and have their own Thanksgiving.
They're allowed the dogs in the family get one small scrap of turkey every year, and the outdoor cat that lives at my mom's gets one scrap of turkey. My indoor cat will get nothing because she gets a house sitter while I go to my mother's for a couple days.
Oh man.
Poor kitty.
Now, yeah, we kind of let our pets have their own little Thanksgiving in our own way.
Besides, I also give the outdoor cat turkey pate every Thanksgiving because
Hmm.
Turkey Day, turkey cat food. So,
Right.
the outdoor cat's spoiled anyway.
Nice.
Now, I mentioned earlier, Thanksgiving used to be my grandmother's tradition.
Hmm.
Kyra may get a little bit emotional here for a minute. Thanksgiving, I didn't really start to remember until I was 14 because that was the year my grandfather was diagnosed with a very aggressive, inoperable form of lung cancer. He was gone within about 6 months because uh, he was just so skinny and had such a extreme chemo treatment
Right.
that
The
it
chemo
ate him
regimen.
that it ate him up. He had no support in his body, and before we knew it, the cancer had metastasized. Which, for those of you who don't know, it means that it spread to other parts of his body. For him, it was his brain, and
Ouch.
I distinctly remember the last year we held Thanksgiving at my grandmother's. All the family was gossiping, and they were like, "I'm surprised he made it this far. I thought he was going to die days ago." And so the And so Thanksgiving comes and goes. There's little kids all over the house. The oldest of us grandkids is 18. The youngest is 5. And so, we're settling in at my house, which was very close to my grandparents' house for the day. And Sunday comes and it dawned on me. Nobody told us. Nobody said, "Hey, why don't you come check on your grandfather?" And it was just me and the littles, the 7-year-old and the 5-year-old. And I said, "Come on, you guys, we need to go check on things." We came and he was gone. So the next year, Thanksgiving was depressing as hell.
Hmm.
We had pizza, Papa John's, for Thanksgiving
Oh
at my
wow.
mother's at my mother's house. I never thought we'd be that family, but we were. And then the following year, we were in the house that my technical difficulties. Sorry, folks. And then the following year, we were in the house that my mother's in now, and we were holding our first Thanksgiving as a blended family. And
Mm.
we were back to traditional Thanksgiving dinners. By the time I was 16, I had taken on the mantle of family baker. By my 20s, I was making the recipes, constantly finding new holiday recipes for desserts to tweak with, and now this is the first year I'm doing Thanksgiving from my own place, and so I'm traveling to my mother's for a couple of days to help cook, dog and tow, cat with a sitter.
Nice. Usually around my family, my family does a lot of the preparation. With me being, visually impaired, they want to make sure it goes smoothly. So I don't get any of the cooking or food prep roles, no pun
No.
intended. Now, I do remember one year I was on dish duty
Yeah.
on cleanup, and oh man, I had never done so many dishes in my life. The deal was I could watch the parade and do what I do, but when it came time to clean up, I had to get up and do my thing.
I
Which,
remember us talking about that previous years.
right, I had to get up and do what I had to do.
I
But
remember. Go ahead. I have something to say afterwards, so.
But yeah, I mean, those are just some good Thanksgiving stories and traditions.
Now, I
Uh,
do have an embarrassing Thanksgiving story
all
before we
right.
move on to Christmas. Um, yeah, one year I made my Thanksgiving pies and I didn't think to put them in a baking sheet so that they wouldn't
Mm-hmm.
splatter all over. Guess
Mm-hmm.
whose dumbass managed to spill uncooked pumpkin pies all over the oven?
Yours.
Yep. I had
Oh
to
shit.
replace all the ingredients except for the spices. I had to replace the pumpkin pie filling. I had
Mm.
to replace the pie shells, the everything. It was so awful. And our cleaning lady came into the kitchen, saw me sobbing over for two empty pumpkin pie shells. She's like, "What happened?" And I'm like, "Well, look at this mess. You tell me what happened." She was so nice and helped me clean it up. Now, transitioning on to Christmas. Your girl Kyra is doing something she's never done for the first time. Um, Kyra went with a pre-decorated 3-foot tree. In previous years, I would do a 4-foot to 5-foot tree
Mm-hmm.
and decorate it with my own personal ornament collection. But I am in a much smaller place now with no space for anything bigger than a 3-foot.
Mm-hmm.
So I found a tree just yesterday, ironically enough,
Nice.
already decorated with a tree skirt and everything. Plugged it in. Had to shoo a certain dog and certain cat away from the tree, and
Mm-hmm.
the rest is history.
Hey, cheap and effective. I remember those 3-foot trees. I remember those. I remember getting one for my for where for work
Yeah.
a few years ago, and it was a pre-lit, and I just plugged her in, put some ornaments on it, and there I was.
All I had to do was plug this in. It came with ornaments and a tree skirt. It was set.
Nice. And I
I do miss
remember.
putting I do miss putting out my personal ornament collection because my mom started it for me when I was an infant, but
Hmm.
maybe when I have room for the 6-foot tree that's sitting in my closet.
Right. I know for years it would be right after Thanksgiving, Black Friday. We would put up the Christmas tree. We would have the big tree up with all the colorful lights, and
Yeah.
we're gonna light up the house. We always light up the house for Christmas and the
Yeah.
bushes and.
My mother has a 9-foot tree. She started a couple years ago. She actually put up or maybe it was last year. She actually put up the tree on Thanksgiving Day last year and realized this tree's too tall for a topper. And I found an angel ornament buried in the box. And I'm like, here, this can be our topper. So
Mm-hmm.
we have a tree that literally touches the ceiling, but it works.
Oh yeah, I remember we had for years this tree with a halo topper
Hmm.
on it. It lit up different colors, and
Yeah.
then we had an angel as a topper that would light different colors.
My mother does golden ornaments primarily for
Hmm.
her tree. Silvers, golds, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Nothing, not your traditional Christmas colors.
Hmm.
So, whatever we want for the tree has to fit the color scheme. There's a couple of ornaments that don't fit, like a chicken, like a little drumstick
Hmm.
stick to symbolize. But people who live in our area will get the joke for that one. It's because my mother's a huge fried chicken fan. And
Oh yeah.
then of course there's relationship ornaments. And that actually reminds me, one year I did something brilliant. Um,
Hmm.
one year we unearthed a whole case of champagne bottle ornaments,
Hmm.
and they had these little spots where you could put a custom label on them. So we took out one for every member of the family who was around at the time. That was over 21, obviously,
Right.
and put labels on them
Hmm.
and gave them as Christmas gifts. And so that the little kids wouldn't feel left out, we got them their own personalized ornaments that suited what they were into that year.
Hey, that works.
But yeah, like I said, my mother started a huge ornament collection for me. Every Christmas, I get one or two new ornaments. It started out as a handful as an infant, and then went to one or two. I mean, one or two growing up, and so I have boxes full of ornaments from my childhood. You know, some of them are very, very cringe because these are like '90s Hallmark little girl ornaments. Like the
Hmm.
first one is like a is like a teddy bear sleeping on a crescent moon in a pink diaper with a pink teddy, but they're still cute.
Hey, I remember as far as ornaments for our tree, we would have just an assortment of ornaments. Some that I would make. I
Yeah.
remember as far as Christmas, uh, and this is going to kind of lead into my first story.
Mhm.
So this might get a bit real for a minute. Yeah,
Yeah, I get it. I had my real
uh,
moment. You can have yours too.
yeah. With me and my now late fiance, who was on the show last February,
Yeah, it was
um,
February. That doesn't feel real.
and she and I we went and one December we painted ornaments for our trees,
Oh, that's cute.
and I painted a blue and gold cross, and and then as far as stories and traditions, see, me and my late fiance, we would always um, do our own little Christmas, maybe the week before. We would always get together, and do
Yeah.
something. And I remember it was, ironically enough, last year, which was unfortunately the last Christmas we had together. We didn't know it, but
Nobody knew. I mean, what happened to her was tragic.
oh yeah, and so we got together. I went up to her place and we just hung out, looked at the tree. We just hung out together, and
Yeah.
I remember her the person that would come in and work with her uh, didn't have any gifts to give to us, and we just said it ain't about that. We had something for her.
Yeah.
We each had something for her, and we were just like, don't worry about it. You don't got to worry about giving us anything. It ain't about what we get. It's about thinking of others and being with those
What
you
you
love.
give.
Yeah, it's not about what you get; it's what you give and those you love. And thinking of those that are less fortunate in the world, because in our what we're going through in the world today, there's a lot of people out there that don't have.
Yeah, I mean, you and I have faced our personal share of challenges. You've lost a partner and you're having health issues. I've faced
Hmm.
financial issues this year, but on the bright side, I've got my furry companion, my sidekick, who is staring me, giving me the stink eye right at the moment.
Hmm.
And but things will get better. I mean, I've had a lot of blessings these past couple weeks, and so I'm getting better, and you will have answers in a couple weeks. Things are going to get better. Now, on another note, I have another tradition.
Hmm.
So my parents are divorced, and up until I'd say I was 15, we would split. Whoever had custody on Christmas would host Christmas morning, and
Hmm.
we'd either do Christmas Eve or Christmas morning across two or three houses, depending
Right.
on who had custody. Well, about 5 years ago, my dad, no, well, okay, several years ago, my dad pulled me aside and said, "I'm not going to be here for Christmas. I'm going XXX for for about 8 weeks, and that includes Christmas." So
Hmm.
about about that time, this was probably 2015, so probably about 8 years ago, I'd say.
Hmm.
I may have my math wrong. I got a headache. I can't do math at the
Yeah,
moment.
that's 8 years ago.
Okay, good. I started taking trips down to where he is now and spending a week or two, no, about a week before Christmas. I mean, about a week in early December with him and my stepmother and their dogs, and now dogs and cat for Christmas.
Hmm.
Well, a couple years, like 2019, I think 2019 last year and this year, I've not been able to do that because one year my stepmother had to have surgery right after Christmas, so it didn't work out.
Hmm.
And then last year I was in a new career and I couldn't fly. This year I took my trip early because I took my trip early because of a personal situation that I will not go into, and I was able to do it earlier this year rather than around the holidays. And so, as a result, I will usually send something small to my dad and his wife. Sometimes it's for both of them, sometimes it's for the benefit of the dogs, and he'll get me something big. This year, I am getting them a couple of ornaments and a couple books and some stuff for the pets. And I've asked for the creme de la crop for me. Now that I have furry companions, I've asked for a Furbo pet camera. This is a mounted camera that you place anywhere in your house. It rotates. It tosses treats. It essentially is it's essentially a nanny for your pets. You can leave Fido or Fluffy in your house and let them go wild because you can just drop in using your phone and be like, and toss them a treat, and they'll be content. They've actually unleashed a cat model with a teaser toy on top, so that way you can keep the cat entertained for hours.
Oh man, I bet that's a pretty penny.
They're actually not that bad. You can pay $80 for the camera,
Hmm.
and then pay a monthly fee for the rest of the features, and I think that's a pretty sweet deal.
That's not a bad deal at all. I mean, considering the technology you're getting. Um, now, uh, I do have again another holiday story that I'd like to share with
Okay.
everyone from the KSB era. See,
Okay.
what we did there again, we lived there on campus.
Mhm.
Um, we would have about the week leading up to Christmas, we would have open houses where um, we would go and they would have food and drink for us, and usually hot chocolate or and Christmas cookies that are red and green, and then we would go and do decorating of the dorms and caroling around the neighborhoods and or neighborhood, and then we would go to the dean of students' house, and we would have hot chocolate and chocolate chip cookies. By the way, these weren't the store bought chocolate chip cookies.
Homemade. I'm knowing your
These
school.
bad boys were homemade, baby,
That's the way to see. We
nice
always had
and
to do
hot out of the
We always
oven.
had to do homemade cookies for me growing up because of my allergy. So homemade is the only way to go, y'all.
Oh man, these were homemade cookies. We had a fireplace. We had hot chocolate, and I remember one year. I think it was Christmas of 1998 or 99.
I would have been 5 or 6, dude.
I was 15 or 16, and we went to the dean's house, and he got a new big screen TV. So we had the
Nice.
fireplace rocking, the chocolate, the cookies, and guess what? He let us watch
What's that?
Monday Night Raw, baby.
Nice. So I
WWE Raw. It was just so cool. We were like, hey, best Christmas ever.
one of my
So
most memorable. Go ahead, then I'll talk.
so at these little things, we would have, Santa would come for the little kids, but we would always get the older ones would get something too. And I remember the Christmas of 1999 specifically
Uh-huh.
getting a tin full of red and green peanut M&Ms.
That's awesome. I can't eat them, but I know how
Oh,
exciting that is for you.
oh man! I that whole holiday break, which we get 2 weeks off for Christmas and New Year's, that was my wrestling snack.
Yeah. So another good memory for me is this is Christmas of 2000. I was no 2001. That's right. I
Hmm.
was 7 or 8 years, almost 8. No,
Hmm.
and it was my cut. Maybe
It
it
was
was 2000.
2001. You would have been 8, yeah.
It was either 2000 or 2001. It was my. I think it was 2000 because it was my cousin's first Christmas. Yeah, that's right. Because
Okay,
she
you
was.
would have been 7.
I was 7. I knew I had it backwards. Um, and she was walking. She was almost 1, so she was in the talking phase. And the whole week I
Hmm.
tried unsuccessfully to get her to say my name. And then I got what I considered to be one of the best books of my life, The World Almanac for Kids 2000. It's a kids encyclopedia. It's one of the best things to learn about all things going on in the world.
Hmm.
And I haven't collected them for years, but I used to have them for all the years up to 2010. I think I still got them somewhere. And so in the days leading up after Christmas, my cousin Zen is just hanging around, toddling around, and she goes up to the kitchen table where my book is, opens the front of the book, doesn't even get past the cover page, and she says my name. I was so tickled. That was the best birthday present that little baby could have ever given me. It was adorable.
Birthday, you mean Christmas?
Did I say birthday? Forgive me, y'all. I have a scatterbrain, and sometimes I say the opposite of what I mean. Blind knows this and has often made fun of me for it. You have, but yes, that was the best Christmas gift she could have given me. And then of course, something funny last year. Um, my brother and his wife gave out gift cards to everyone last year, and I told her, no matter what you do, do not give me a coffee cup. I've got more coffee cups than I know what to do with. In fact, I keep sneaking coffee cups back into the house from the thrift store. I just can't help it.
Oh man.
And and so last year they gave me this heavy gift bag, and I'm like, what in the name of heck is this? Not only is there a gift bag, is there a gift card in there with an ornament I handpicked for my collection in there. My dumb brother put in a heavy rock to punk me with. Jokes
Oh,
on
he punked you. Oh wow.
jokes on him. I took that sucker and put it out in my front yard in my fire bed.
I'm not
He
kidding.
thought I was gonna get madder than a hornet over that rock. At first I was, and I'm like, and then my mom calls her, hey, nice rock. You can put it out front of the apartment. So there's a rock in my yard.
Nice. As for like Christmases, I would say one of my favorite Christmases was 2001.
Yeah,
I just got my PS2 that February, so it was still new. I was still getting my collection built up.
yeah,
And my mother and late brother, God rest us all, they came and hooked me up. I got an assortment of great video games. I got Half Life for PS2 that year.
yeah.
And for those of you who are wondering, a Half Life's disc, you know how they would use DVDs or the traditional game disc thing?
Yeah, I remember because I got an Xbox for Christmas one year and a PS1 for Christmas before that. So yeah, I remember.
So the non DVD discs had these blue tinted backs on them for the PS2.
I remember because I was my PS2 is the only one of my consoles that's still going strong. So I play all my PlayStation games on it. So yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So yeah, I got Half Life 2, or not Half Life that year, and I
Mm-hmm.
got Metal Gear Solid 2 Sons of Liberty that year.
Yeah,
And I played the absolute hell out of those games
I'll bet. Now
um,
another
for
good
Christmas.
Christmas I had was in 2001. Jim Carrey revolutionized the industry by releasing The Grinch.
Hmm.
And if anyone knows young Kyra, she was terrified of the Grinch. Not
Oh
the
yeah.
old, not this Grinch, but the previous Grinch.
Hmm.
My mother dragged me and my sister in that theater. I thought I was gonna throw a fit.
Hmm.
I got over my fear seeing Jim Carrey be the Grinch. I watched that movie every year. I without fail. In fact, I even managed to snag it on Amazon Prime for 89 cents because I had no credit built up on my account. So I that was the first Christmas movie I watched this year was The Grinch. So Chris, there's
Nice.
a lot of Christmas movies I like to watch. Um, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation is a must. It's not for the faint of heart, but it's hilarious. A Christmas Story is awesome, but they play it nonstop Christmas Day. That's the only problem with it.
Hmm.
The Jim Carrey Grinch is wonderful. Rudolph and all the other claymation Christmas specials
Oh,
are
Rudolph, I got that on DVD.
lucky you. I have to watch it. I have to wait for it to come on CBS because they don't have it on streaming. Um,
I'm sure you could buy it at like Walmart or somewhere like that real cheap.
Probably, but I don't have a DVD player, so moot point at this point.
Uh,
And there's just I mean there's a million others. Actually, Christmas Vacation is probably one of my favorites to watch.
hmm.
It's lewd, it's crude, but it's hilarious. That scene where Rusty comes in the kitchen, it's like, "Mom, this box is meowing," and Clark shakes the box and it starts meowing, and he's like, "She wrapped up her goddamn cat." That's hilarious. I feel bad for what happens to the cat afterwards, but I'm not telling y'all that.
No, that's you gotta watch. Now, all right. On the topic of Christmas movies, Rudolph, the claymation movies been a tradition in my family for years. Um, let's see. A Charlie Brown Christmas was one that I
That's
remember.
a good one. I never have been a big fan of Frosty, but I like the song, so I'll give Frosty some credit.
Yeah, that one is kind of a take it or leave it type of deal. Um,
But the one that comes after it, Frosty Returns, is great. That's the problem. One's good, one stinks.
hmm. Now, as for new ways of enjoying old traditions, unfortunately, yeah, they don't have the claymation stuff on the streaming. So I mean, it would be nice if it was on Netflix with audio description.
You can
Uh,
rent them on Amazon, but let's be real. At $3 to $5 a pop,
that's
nobody has
no,
money
no,
for
no, no,
that
no.
shit.
Not today. Not in today's economy.
They want you to have live TV, satellite, or cable. And don't get me
Hmm.
wrong, that's great, but I can't afford live TV at the moment. I cut my cable to save money, and I sure as hell ain't paying for satellite.
Right. And like I said, the audio description would be nice, for those that might need it. But
Yeah.
one thing that I like to do now on Netflix is I look at like the holiday movies and see what they have.
And that's
And
what I've been doing on Disney and what is now called Max.
oh yes, the former HBO app, yeah.
Yep.
Um, just looking at the holiday movies and kind of doing my own little Christmas. And the first year I started watching the Christmas movies on Netflix was 2018.
Oh, I forgot to mention another Christmas staple, Elf. I watched it 3 times before I gained a liking for it, but it's hilarious. In fact, your old girl Kyra is going to see the musical version at a certain location that's very very close to me and Blind. That Blind will figure out in a moment, I'm sure.
Hmm. And I believe it was last Christmas you went to see our favorite Christmas musical act, TSO.
Who is unfortunately not coming to our area for the first time in 20 years. Boo! F you, TSO, you bastards! Not coming back to our town.
Yeah, boo! Maybe next year we can go or something.
It
But
was
yeah,
amazing. They have, I
one.
mean, if you want a good rock opera, but that's Christmas themed, TSO.
Yeah.
Get tickets. They're actually cheaper than you think.
Oh yeah.
For we should probably say what TSO is for those who can't figure out.
Trans Siberian Orchestra.
And they have an amazing selection. They have 4 Christmas albums. That's all they do is
Yes,
Christmas music,
that's all it
and they are
is. And
so amazing.
yes, Kyra got me onto him last year, and I have your boy Blind Metal Gamer has a Spotify playlist
I
called a
do too,
very
and I have one of their Christmas ornaments. I mean, the going to the concert and getting anything refreshment wise or souvenirs is expensive as fuck. But going to see TSO
mm-hmm.
in person is worth it because you get the rock music, the vocals, the pyrotechnics. It's amazing.
Oh, I know, and it's all Christmassy.
Yeah, it's awesome. Like there are like last year at Christmas, I played the TSO playlist so that I could make it through the night on Christmas Eve. Best decision ever. So I found a new Christmas tradition. Play TSO on Christmas Eve and just rock out so that you don't have to worry about interrupting Santa and waking up the rest of the house at 5:30 in the morning.
Me, I got my Christmas playlist consists of various metal bands doing Christmas themed music. I did add some Trans Siberian Orchestra, some Nina Starter
Mm-hmm.
Quest, and some Tim Ripper Owens to it this year. Which, for those of you who follow Blind Metal Gamer on various platforms, that will be coming very soon.
And as for me, I don't have a particular Christmas list. There's a certain radio station that's notorious for this phenomenon called Mixmas.
Yep.
Starting right before Halloween. They don't even give y'all Halloween anymore. You're lucky if you get that. They will rock out to the Christmas music,
Mm-hmm.
and then not even before 8 o'clock Christmas Day, the
Poof.
music's gone. I'm like,
Gone. Yeah.
F you, y'all. Let us enjoy our Christmas music if you're gonna drive us crazy with it. Nope, they won't. But at the same time, though, I don't have to worrying about certain songs like Feliz Navidad driving me crazy. Yeah, the most annoying Christmas song in history, Feliz Navidad. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's another one I can't stand, but I don't remember which one it is. Although I do have a fondness for Last Christmas, particularly the original Wham version. So
Mm-hmm.
don't don't attack me, y'all.
So yeah, I mean, we each kind of have our own Christmas traditions, our own Thanksgiving traditions. So Kyra, do you have anything you would like to say before we close out this bad boy for our holiday break, 2023?
I do want to bring up one more topic. So we have the pets, so they get their own Christmases.
Yep.
I actually took a darling picture of my dog on Christmas Day. She was curled up on my lap when I had Christmas pajamas on with a smile on her face. Seeing a dog smile, now that's cute. And
Mhm.
she gets one or two toys. Actually, she got a whole advent calendar last year. And the cats usually get a bunch of catnip at Christmas. And then, of course, one year I was down at my dad's for Christmas. The dogs had collars, but no dog tags. One had an outdated dog tag, the other had no dog tag at all. So I get the dogs these uber cool tie-dyed stainless steel alloy dog tags. So you can get at any Go Tags machine at Meijer or Walmart.
Nice. Now, before we do wrap up, there is one other story I would like to share.
Okay.
Um, One of my most recent Christmas memories. It was this last year, as a matter of fact.
Oh, okay.
The family gathered around, and the tree wasn't the big tree. We had got a smaller tree, just for simplicity's sake,
I get you.
because things happen and you got to be simple.
Mm-hmm.
So we gather around. We're doing our Christmas opening. I get me some new pajamas, some new clothes, the traditional PSN cards, and at the very end, we each had to close our eyes. Me, my nephew, my niece, mom's boyfriend, to close our eyes. And
Yeah.
mom's like, "You're gonna get one final gift card." We all had our eyes closed, and She presented this thing. We didn't know what it was. We're
Uh
thinking
huh.
it's a gift card. We're thinking it's maybe a paper gift card or something. We opened it, and it was $200 cash a piece.
That also brings me to another Christmas tradition of mine. So several years ago, my stepdad, he used to be notorious for giving Polo Ralph Lauren to everyone for Christmas. Nobody liked him, particularly me.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't wear any of the stuff he gave me because I never was into polos at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then the outlet mall, the only one that we have in our area, opened
Mm-hmm.
up. You know which one I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Came and so he went. He bought a bunch of gift cards, at least $1,000 worth, and gave them to everyone. So now every year I go with my stepdad, his sisters, and their families, which is usually his three nieces, sis, and we all go spend our Christmas money on the day after Christmas. I hate getting out on the day after Christmas, but I get to do shopping the day after Christmas and spend time with family. That is a new Christmas tradition I've adopted, and I'm usually the one that spends the entire gift card first. Like last year, I got myself a new winter coat because I needed
Mm-hmm.
a coat that badly.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, those are some of our favorite holiday traditions for Thanksgiving and Christmas. Kyra, do you got anything you'd like to say before we wrap this up? No pun intended for 2023.
I will just say, be patient with your families this Thanksgiving and Christmas. I know exactly what it's like to get into some nasty fights over Christmas. So just remember, if you have trouble at Christmas or Thanksgiving, you're not alone. We've all been there at one point or another. And stay strong and have faith in whatever you believe in because it'll all be okay. It's the holidays and it's about the season of giving, and for some of us it's about something better than that.
Mm-hmm. So stay strong, y'all. Peace, love, and good vibes, and season's greetings to everybody. I do want everyone to know that this will be our final episode before the holidays. We're going to take a little holiday break. All
We'll
right.
be back in January though.
Would you like to tell them what's coming up in the start of 2024?
I would, but as usual your girl Kyra has forgotten the topic for 2024.
It has to do with certain foods and certain things that we loved. That uh, the topic is going to be junk foods from the 80s and 90s that either are still
Oh
around.
yeah, duh,
So New Year's Iders, baby, beware.
junk food from the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. How could I have forgotten that one?
Yes,
Just
and
we'll have to play this banter at the end of every episode because he remembers, I don't.
yes, and so New Year's Iders, beware, baby, because the one thing that you don't dread is coming for you. The Junk Food Express. It's coming hard, but you ain't gonna get it till 2024. So you gotta
Choo
watch. And
choo.
so to close up things here, in the midst of all any uncertainties that you might be facing, I know I'm facing some
I
uh,
am too.
at the moment. The one related to things, one thing that will not change and will stay the same is the production of this podcast.
That is true. Blind and I were going to experiment with a new format, but then we took a look at things, did a test run. We're like, we don't need to change anything. And if Blind can't do his responsibilities, I am certified in IT and am more than capable of learning from Blind.
Right, so we're going to figure things out if needed, but I think I would be able to handle things. So, Kyra, you got anything you want to say before we wrap up?
Like I said, just be patient with your family and enjoy the holidays. It's better things are coming, and this is the time of year where you really need to appreciate what you have.
Yes, and I would like to say for those who are listening or watching, I would like to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, Happy Holidays, a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. We will see you all in 2024. Stay warm and stay safe. Peace, love, and good vibes to you all. So long, everyone, and peace out.
Stay golden, y'all. Bye. You got it?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. We're obviously going to have to edit the beginning and the end out, but I think that went pretty well.